What's good, YouTube? Super Insane 18 here, coming at you with our first episode of Road to Ranked since I've been back from my 2-week hiatus. We're going to go ahead and jump right in. We're actually going to use the team that I got to Master Ball with this season. This is a brand new season, so we do have all of the new DLC mons legal, as well as just a bunch of legendaries kind of running rampant. I'm trying to keep the legendaries to a minimum. That's why I've only really got the 2 on my team. You can see over there on the right what my team preview is. And we're going to go ahead and jump right in. Alright, so looks like a pretty standard team. The Landorus is always a threat, so we do want to make sure we bring probably either the T-Tar or the Tapu Fini. The T-Tar has the Ice Punch for it, but we do have the Glastrier. I always like to bring 2 answers for the Lando just because of how big of a threat it is, but his team does look like it wants to be fast. So leading with my Trick Room Setter and my Sweeper is pretty good here. I don't want to lead the Incineroar in case he brings the competitive Articuno there. We are going to bring the... I think we're going to bring the Tyranitar for this matchup. It does look like it will handle a lot of his team, and the Tapu Fini as well. And excuse me, I might be taking a sip of my juice this video rather frequently, just because my throat is still kind of messed up from being sick. Alright, so let's see what my opponent leads. Looks like it's going to be the Articuno Landorus. So we are in a pretty good position here. I'm not 100% sure if the Articuno gets Taunt. Whether it does or doesn't, I'm just going to go ahead and still try for the Trick Room and do max Hailstorm into the Landorus. Even through an Intimidate, it should kill, unless it is Yachi Berry, but we see here that it's not, thanks to Frisk. So let's go ahead and Trick Room and max Hailstorm into the Landorus slot. And then if this picks up the KO, that will put us back to neutral through the Intimidate, and we should be in a pretty good position. Alright, and we can see that he didn't max anything because the Glastrier maxed first. I should be the second slowest thing on the field behind my Dusclops. He could be trying to maybe U-turn out, or we'll see what he does here, but I might predict the U-turn. Yep, okay. So he does go for the U-turn, which is fine. It means he is going to get another Intimidate off on us, which is rather unfortunate, but we can put ourselves back to neutral by activating our own weakness policy. So it looks like he's probably just going to try the Pivot Intimidate strategy. Personally, a strategy that I can't stand. I think it's just an annoying way to battle. Not fun for anybody. I don't know how somebody could have fun just switching out repeatedly, and obviously it's not fun for me getting intimidated. But we do get our Trick Room up, which is good. So that means that we are in a pretty good position. I think what we do here is we just Brick Break into our Glastrier to activate our weakness policy, and I'm gonna predict that he's going to bring out the Landorus again. So I kind of just want to worry about the Articuno here. He can't fake out the Dusclops. He might try to Parting Shot. So let's go ahead and we'll actually just max Knuckle into the Incin slot. If he keeps the Incin in, it should do a good amount of damage. If he switches out, at least I'll still be able to hit the Landorus, because if I quaked and he switched into the Landorus, then I wouldn't be able to really do anything. And it will give me a +1 attack as well, even if I don't get the KO. So we see he didn't hard switch. If I had to guess, he maybe went for like a Parting Shot, but we are going to take it out being back at neutral. Now we're going to get 2 more attack boosts thanks to the Max Knuckle as well as the Chilling Neigh ability on this Glastrier here. So I think we are in a relatively good position. So the Articuno is going to Freezing Glare. It is going to be probably the Dusclops slot. and I believe it's a 10% chance to freeze. Does he get lucky? Nope. Okay. So we are in a good position. I think he is forced to send the Landorus out here to get off another Intimidate. And since he will be slower now for Trick Room, he'll either have to hard swap or die to the max Hailstorm. But either way, if he does send out the Ensign, or not the Ensign, the Landorus here, then we just drop the Hailstorm into that slot, even if he plans on switching it out. Because through this Intimidate, we should still be +1, if I'm remembering correctly, because we got lowered twice, went up twice with the Weakness Policy, and then 2 more boosts. So let's go ahead. We'll actually ally switch here, and we'll do Hailstorm into the Landorus slot. He might max it here. He still hasn't used his Dynamax. Looks like he's taking a little bit of time. Okay, so he just forfeited. Easy battle for us, I guess. Just forfeiting like that. I don't know what he had in the back, but he brought a bunch of Mon that are weak to ice when he saw the Glastrier, so I'm not quite sure why. But that's 1 win under our belt, so let's just keep going. So the reason it said that it's giving a ribbon to everything, even though this is the team that I got to Master Ball with, I did actually breed a new Tyranitar with no good speed, just because the one that I actually used didn't have no good speed, but I wanted to make it as optimal as possible for the video since I am running a Trick Room strategy. So really, everything else already had the ribbon, it was just the Tyranitar that didn't. So it is pretty early Monday morning here, so we might not find trainers all that quickly. Thankfully this one didn't take too long. We're going up against Enrico, and his team looks pretty standard. I think I still want to lead my Trick Room strategy. I definitely want to bring the Tapu Fini in the back. It does have the water for the Excadrill and the Tyranitar. It's got the Fairy for the Tyranitar and the Zapdos. Part of me wants to bring the Rillaboom for the Terrain Wars, but I do have the Tapu Fini for that. I think the best option here is actually the Tyranitar. No, the Zapdos is fighting. I can't bring the Tyranitar. I don't really want to bring the Incineroar either, since the Zapdos does have Defiant. We are... Let's bring the Rillaboom. Pretty much my plan with the Rillaboom is going to be to fake out the Zapdos and KO it with something else. Unfortunately didn't really realize how frail this team is to Zapdos, so that's a little bit of an oversight on my part, but I didn't face any Zapdos going up the ladder, so I guess maybe I got lucky, but we'll see if I'm able to handle it. Okay, so I feel like we're not in a horrible position. I think I just Trick Room and Hailstorm into the Zapdos slot. Okay, the Zapdos is Choice Banded, so it will do a lot of damage to us. Let's go ahead and Trick Room and Hailstorm into the Zapdos. Okay, so he doesn't max the Zapdos here. Again, my Glastrier is the second slowest thing on the field behind the Dusclops, so if he were going to max, he would be doing it beforehand. It is possible that the Whimsicott might be taunting into the Dusclops slot to make it so the Trick Room doesn't go up, but that is fine. I will still KO the Zapdos here, especially since he didn't max it, so that's okay. I'm not really upset about that. The Zapdos is going to do a lot of damage into my Glastrier. Oh, Okay, he close combated into the Dusclops slot for some reason. Not really sure why he would do that. Maybe he predicted an ally switch or something. But we do get a boost, so we are in a very good position again. We can't use the Trick Room because of the taunt. We do break the Focus Sash on the Whimsicott that we saw there. So let's see what our opponent sends out. Okay, so he's going to send out the Excadrill. I think here I'm actually going to switch out into... No, I don't think I really need to switch out, honestly. Let's just double into this Excadrill slot. Like, there's really not much better to do. And I'm gonna Knuckle it just because I want to get greedy with attack boosts. That's kind of the entire point of playing with Glastrier. Okay, so he sends out the Indeedee. Psychic Surge, maybe this is a Psychic Seed Excadrill. I don't know why he would go for special boosts. Okay, so it looks like the Indeedee has the Psychic Seed. So what is the Excadrill going to do? The Excadrill is going to max. If I had to guess, it's going to Rockfall into my Glastrier, but we are bulky enough to take that, and it will just activate our weakness policy, putting us in a ridiculously good position. I don't think there's a world in which this KOs, but I'm not really great with damage calcs. Okay, so he went for Steel Spike into the Dusclops. He wants the defense boosts. I'm fine with that. I think we still KO. I didn't want to activate my own weakness policy in case he did go for something threatening. We do see that it's Life Orbed, so it is going to take some damage. Hopefully this... Okay, so it is a pretty bulky Excadrill, which is fine. It did get +1, but we do get our attack raise, so let's see... Brick Break shouldn't do too much. It's from a Dusclops, which that's fine. The Indeedee is probably going to follow me here, so I think I still just want to press Brick Break because it will be neutral. I'm going to go into the Excadrill slot in case for... Well, no, he's just going to KO the Dusclops here. You know what? Yeah, let's still just do that. We're fine with Dusclops going down here. And let's Knuckle... Let's Hailstorm into the Indeedee slot. Make sure that we get it out. I would be very surprised if a +2 Hailstorm doesn't KO it. This should be into the Dusclops slot again. He just wants to get it out of the way, which is fine by me, in all honesty. The Hailstorm does go into the Indeedee. That should take... Oh, it is a very bulky Indeedee, I guess. +2 really didn't take it out? Okay, that's fine. I think here we just go into the Tapu Fini and Muddy Water. We can protect with the Glastrier just so that he can't do anything with the Excadrill to it, because this is the end of my Dynamax. So we should be okay here. He might maybe switch out the Indeedee to preserve the Psychic Terrain, but I don't see him doing that, in all honesty. So he does have one more turn of max. What I'm going to do is Muddy Water with the Tapu Fini and protect with the Glastrier. This will allow me to live anything that the Excadrill might want to do now that I'm no longer maxed. And if he does do anything that is super effective, like Steel Spike or Rockfall or something like that, it will activate my weakness policy, and I'm pretty sure we just clean up the game from there. The Tapu Fini should take out both of these, assuming the Muddy Water hits. Muddy Water's pretty bad accuracy. But we'll see. My opponent is taking a little bit of time to think his play. He is going to Helping Hand, so I think he's probably going into the Glastrier, wanting to get it out of the way. It is full health, it is a big threat. Let's see where the Steel Spike goes. Yep, into the Glacier slot. It does almost half health through a Protect, but I mean, that's the helping hand damage there. So we do get our weakness policy activated, and then the Tapu Fini should clean up this turn. Perfect. So that leaves my opponent with nothing left other than the Whimsicott, and I don't think there's anything the Whimsicott can do to one-hit KO the Glastrier, so the Glastrier will take it out if the Tapu Fini doesn't. I will be going for a Moonblast since it is terrain boosted with the Misty Terrain up, and that'll seal the game for us. We're just going to click the Icicle Crash into the Whimsicott, and that should be a done battle. Yep, my opponent goes ahead, he just cancels, and that is a second win for this team. Honestly, I personally think that Glastrier is a very oppressive Pokemon. It is very tanky on the physical side, it is very strong on the physical side. The fact that its ability is essentially Moxie, and the fact that it just pairs so well with Trick Room, it's really just a very oppressive Pokemon. So this video is probably going to be a little bit shorter than most since I'm still not feeling 100% better. This will be the last battle here, but I will be bringing another team that I've been playing on the ladder for the next video, and I will be also bringing some other content as well. So I want to lead the Incineroar. The only thing that kind of wants to say no to that is the, what's it called, the Primarina. I'm going to bring the, I don't really have much to hit the Primarina with other than the Rillaboom. It is min speed Rillaboom, so I should win the Terrain Wars against the Indeedee there, so I think I'm going to bring the Rillaboom. I want to bring the Glastrier in the back for sure to handle the Landorus, and I think the last one that I'll bring is the Tyranitar. The Tyranitar handles the Landorus and the Incineroar on my opponent's team, and hopefully my Incineroar can counteract my opponent's Ferrothorn. So we'll just kind of see where this goes. Okay, so my opponent sends out the double Intimidate for the start, which I guess that's fine. I think I'm just going to double Fake Out. Actually, I might switch out the Rillaboom because he might be going for like a air stream into my Rillaboom. What is the best course of action here? I'm not sure whether he would go for the Quake onto the Incineroar, or if he would go for the Airstream onto the Rillaboom. It's kind of a 50-50. I think I want to get rid of the Landorus's item, regardless. I don't know who he's going to fake out here. So he does fake out the Incineroar. That does, okay, so he's going to U-turn instead. He's probably Choice Scarfed. Whatever he brings in is going to lose its item, which I'm personally fine with regardless. Okay, so getting rid of the Ferrothorn's item is actually really big. It's probably going to be Leftovers or Rocky Helmet. I'm going to take Iron Barb's damage here. And I knocked off the Leftovers, so it will not have any sort of residual heal. I think what I do here is I switch out the Rillaboom and I Parting Shot into the Incineroar slot. So let's go ahead and Parting Shot the Incineroar slot, and we're going to switch out the Rillaboom for the Tyranitar here. The Tyranitar does have some pretty good coverage for my opponent's team. I am very worried about the Ferrothorn. Ferrothorn is just a Pokemon that I personally have a lot of trouble getting through. And with my Incineroar being double intimidated, my Flare Blitz isn't going to do any sort of damage to it. Okay, so his Incineroar parting slots my Incineroar. Kind of a stupid move, since I can just do the same and it will reset my stats as well. Unless he goes into something really weird here, I don't see how this parting shot on my part will be any sort of bad. So he does go out into the Landorus. He is doing that Intimidate strategy where he just pivots his Intimidates. But that's fine. I think here, even with an Intimidate, that my Ice Punch should KO the Landorus. Tyranitar is very strong, so... And if I send out the Rillaboom here, I can fake out the Landorus slot so that it can't do anything. I don't think he plans on maxing it. I think he's just going to try and U-turn again, which is fine by me. We do have the Ferrothorn going for Iron defenses here, so that will be a threat. But I think we can handle it. So we're just going to fake out the Landorus slot, and we are going to Ice Punch the Landorus slot. If he sends out the Incineroar, then... okay, he doesn't. So hopefully this is a dead Landorus. The fake out does do a lot of damage. The Ice Punch comes through. Okay, and the Landorus is gone. So now that is one less Intimidate that we have to worry about him pivoting. But he is going to just set up this Ferrothorn to run through my team with body presses, it looks like. Hopefully we can handle that. It's definitely not going to be easy or fun, but we will see. I think here he sends out the Incineroar wanting to get off another Intimidate, which is fine. I think what I do here is I switch out into my own Incineroar. In the Tyranitar slot, I do not want the Tyranitar taking a body press right now, but at the same time a body press would probably kill the Incineroar, which I do need to handle the Ferrothorn. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to knock off the Incineroar, and the rest of my team is super weak to that body press, which is very unfortunate. I think we have to sack off the Incineroar, though. This Tyranitar is really the only thing that can handle my opponent's Incineroar. Neither of us is maxed yet, so we are both kind of holding our max for a while, it seems. Okay, so he just went for the Flare Blitz. He didn't even want to fake out the Rillaboom, which... okay, I guess that is a fair play. But what that does make me want to do here is bring out my Glastrier. This probably KOs the Incineroar. Yep, okay. So I think what we do now is we have to go all in on the Ferrothorn slot, unfortunately. And I don't think it will be enough. I think the Ferrothorn just cleans up this game for my opponent. Very big insight on my side, bringing a bunch of Pokemon that are weak to fighting, but then again, everything else on my team would have struggled with the Ferrothorn anyway. So we're going to go ahead and max this. We're going to Knuckle into the Ferrothorn for increased damage. And then... I think we Lash Out into the Ferrothorn. It's going to be our strongest move because of Stab. Hopefully with a Knuckle and a boosted Lash Out, it will at least do good amounts of damage to the Ferrothorn. I don't think it will, unfortunately. Yeah, I think we're in a pretty bad position here. So he goes for the parting shot. He does want to just cycle through that Intimidate again. Again, a strategy that I just really hate. it's really just not fun to play against. But I mean, it works. My opponent's going to win because of it. So the Primarina is the Mon in the back, which is a little bit bad news for us. Oh, the Lash Out's not going to be boosted. That's right. My Glastrier is the slowest thing on the field. So that means that we are going to hit this Ferrothorn. It's going to do little to no damage, and the Body Press will take out our Tyranitar here. And then all he has to do is switch out into the Incin, intimidate us again, and then there will be no hope. I don't believe that this Glastrier can 1v3. As good of a Pokemon as it is not that good. So just for stab purposes, I kind of want to hit the Hailstorm. It will also give us residual damage on my opponent, and I won't be taking anything like I am with the Sand. Yep, so he's just going to cycle out the Intimidate. He's going to Parting Shot again on the next turn, and it's going to be a slow and painful defeat. Honestly, just such a garbage strategy. It really is. Like, there's nothing fun about an opponent just switching out Intimidates. Yep, okay, and then so on the next turn he's going to try to Body Press me for game. Nothing I can really do. Let's go ahead and at least try to make ourselves neutral. Well, not neutral, he's intimidating and Parting Shot, so at least get us down to -1 instead of -2. Going to Knuckle. We crit. Oh my god. So we might actually be able to maybe pull it off now because of that crit. That does put us at +1, which means the Intimidate will put us back to neutral. I'm not sure there's much that the Primarina can do to us. That's actually that's really funny. You know, I don't want to sound like I'm salty, but it kind of serves my opponent right for the strategy that he's trying to pull on me. Okay, we are still -1 because of that Intimidate. Let's go ahead. Close Combat will do more, but it will make us weaker. I think we just High Horsepower into the Incin. I don't want to... Okay, so he's probably maxing the Incineroar and going for a Flare here. That will give us a Weakness Policy boost, maybe, hopefully. Okay, he maxes the Primarina. I'm curious what the Primarina intends on doing. I don't think it carries any moves that are super effective against Glastrier. I could be wrong. Okay, so he did go for the Fake Out, which is to be expected. I probably should have protected that turn. It's just the Incineroar hasn't really faked out except for turn 1 this game. Okay, the Geyser does a lot. So that's probably the end of it for us. Yeah, let's go ahead. We're just going to Close Combat into the Incin. Maybe get lucky and take it out in some miracle, but even if the Incineroar doesn't hit us, the Primarina is faster than us, and that should be game for my opponent. Yep, goes for the Snarl, and that takes the KO on the Glastrier. So unfortunately we lost that last game. My opponent was playing a strategy that I really just despise. Funny that we got the crit on the Ferrothorn though, so I guess that's a little bit of silver lining, kind of some karma for my opponent. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Leave any suggestions down in the comment section of Pokemon that you would like to see, and I will try to bring them in the future. Thanks for watching.